Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit or Zappy here, back again with Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex Season 1. We're on episode 19, and in the last recording session, so the last two episodes, it was basically, a lot of it was based around Aramaki, so the chief of Section 9, which is really actually nice to get, because obviously, in regards to a lot of previous standalone episodes, it'll revolve around either Bato, or, we've had some on the Major as well. I don't think we've had any on Tagusa, but he did have that whole complex episode that was dedicated around him going around the facility and everything like that. So, it's nice to obviously get some sort of development from the chief. I would probably argue that most of it was obviously in episode 17, when he was alone in that sort of hostage situation, with his the inclination being his wife, or what could have been, but we learned that he was smart and resourceful, everything like that. Which doesn't really surprise me in the least, but it was nice to just sort of sit back and watch anyway. And yeah, I mean, the whole thing with his wife, I like the whole creative decision of not actually giving the woman a name, because it's kind of like that whole thing of like being a secretive sort of relationship that's not really public in any way. And the fact of obviously the chief, the career that he's in, them choosing to sort of stay apart. I like the sort of creative decision, therefore, to not even give the woman a name in that respect. So yeah, that was really cool. And obviously the last episode was revolving around one of Aramaki's former colleagues that they grew up together, or they came through, I suppose, at the same time. I don't really think they grew up together, but they obviously came through at the same time. And that guy was somebody who died early, and there was this whole thing obviously between, I think someone said World War III was what the sort of Chinese and Japanese war and everything like that was going on at that time, in Okinawa, I believe. There was that whole thing. I think there was something actually that was said that Okinawa is now like completely underwater, like it doesn't even exist anymore, because of the shit that went down there. But yeah, there was that whole thing of this guy who, his wife had died, and he had this sort of belief that it was the vice, what was his name, the vice minister for foreign affairs, I believe, right? There was the belief that he was he was in charge of all of the shit that was going on there, and that therefore, there was this whole brainwashing, not really brainwashing, but it's like there was two brains occupying obviously the son, and they were going to assassinate the vice minister. That obviously didn't happen, but everything like that. I don't think there's anything else to really talk about in regards to that, because again, they're standalone episodes. At this point, there's no point guessing what the next one could be, because we've had so many standalone episodes. Like I don't even know how many it's been. It could be 8, 9. It's been a lot though, so there's no point even guessing what this next one could be. But yeah, nothing else to really talk about. So yeah, if you do want to go watch episode 19, the reaction to it, then the link is in the description. There's also a link to the full length, so if you don't want to watch that and not just the 10-minute version, then the offer is there for you. But yeah, nothing else to really talk about, so we're going to get in episode 19 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 19. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really an enthralling episode. It's probably one of the weakest actually that I've watched, because I mean, I don't really know what we learned more, like, other than like, there's another sort of, I guess, a mafia organization dedicated around the northern territories. So I don't know, I guess what is Russia sort of, I don't think it would be Russia though, would it? It'll probably be like more like Korea, possibly. My geography isn't great. Hold on. I think Korea is above Japan, isn't it? Yeah, it would be, right? So yeah, it would be Korea then, I would think. though Russia is so big, that comes across with it as well. It's parts of China that's a bit north of Japan, but yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is that like this whole Kruzkoa, who was once like, you know, part of like, you know, Russian intelligence, everything like that, that, you know, she was a spy that's considered, I don't know, like people know who she is, so she, you know what I mean, she's like clearly like well known and famous, but you know, she was basically set up. That's basically what I got from that whole story, is that like for some reason somebody wanted her to be set up for this whole thing, and wanted her out for whatever reason. I can't imagine that whoever set up that job with... You see, this is the thing, is like the weird thing is that I don't know who comes out well in this, like... I don't know who comes out well out of the end of this. Like, whoever gave the target list must have been somebody from the Northern Territories, right? But then, because of everything that happened, the Assemblyman like had to literally revoke everything that he previously said about the Northern Territories. So all of a sudden, their name is dragged through the mud, right? Everything that he was backing up was completely undone. And I don't know if that was worth it just to get this woman outed, is like, for doing this, you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's a case of like somebody had infiltrated the Northern Territories in order to make this happen, like somebody that obviously doesn't like what the Northern Territories are doing, obviously an enemy of those, I could imagine, but then they would have to infiltrate and, you know, get a hold of this target list or whatever for all of this to actually, you know, occur. I don't know what the dude at the start is all about. I mean, I guess that like he had some... I think he must have had something to do with it, right? Because he was obviously talking about two women and fucking taking them away somewhere, I guess. But the fact of like the cameras and everything like that were obviously, you know, around the area were not really malfunctioned, but it's like edited live, you know what I mean, and you know, taken essentially like a section of the footage out. I feel like there just must have been something, you know what I mean. I was thinking throughout the episode that like I don't know how much the father would have been involved, like, you know, again, like with this show, because of previous episodes, like standalone episodes in particular, where it's like it all becomes like, a lot of it is obviously detective work, and so, you know, you're talking about trying to find the mystery of who's involved with what and everything like that, and a lot of the previous ones had like inclinations to, you know, to certain people who are acting up, playing a part that turned out to be part of the whole thing, you know. So obviously in the back of my mind I was thinking, is Kanzaki, is he like responsible for some of this? Because obviously his backing of the Northern Territories and everything like that, you know, he was like basically saying that none of it existed while it was all happening. I was wondering if he had any hand to play in that. Now, there could be still an element of that, but I don't know if he was like, if he got like, I don't know, because the way that he was acting at the end of the episode, like, I want to believe that, all right, you know, he's not corrupt in all that way. He's just a bit of a, you know, he's just a bit gullible and everything to believe that all this stuff isn't happening, you know. But I mean, the fact that like he was forced, obviously, he was forced down a route of having to basically revoke everything that he said about the Northern Territories and everything and his image for the sake of his daughter. Now, if he was a part of it, right, I don't know. I don't know if there could be that whole thing. But the fact is, it's like, if this was part of like, you know, a complex story, you know, then there would be much more to come. But that's the thing, is like I've said before previously, that standalone episodes don't really revolve around me at the end talking about theories of what could be and what couldn't be, because I'm never going to get answers to them, really, am I? So it's like, you know, like I just, that's the thing, isn't it, with like the standalone ones, is like you get the, I don't know, I guess at the end you're supposed to, the end of the episode, just an episode arc, it comes to the end, and then I figured that like a lot of the times with the standalone episodes, there'll be like obviously they talk about it slightly at the end of the episode, like between the characters, and it's all about like hypotheticals or what like possibly is the case, or you know, and it's like it leaves a lot to be, I guess, to talk about, which, you know, in a lot of cases is generally good, because I guess it leaves it open-ended for what could be and what couldn't be, but it's something that obviously you're searching for answers that you're never going to get. So yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, isn't it? Is that like the spy was, you know, Chris Core was literally just put in a place purposefully so that she would get outed as, you know, and basically just like, you know, thrown out essentially. But I guess that's what you get when you fucking meddle in all of that disgusting shit. So that's it. Yeah, there was something about she mentioned something about like before the like Asian miracle or something like happened, that has anything to do with like, you know, the, because obviously they were looking for you know, I guess top quality organs or whatever, and I guess they come from certain either like, you know, families of blood types or anything like that, or, you know, specifically like they were talking about how these girls came from good families, so they're not tainted, I suppose, in any way. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing of like pure blood Asians, like it's been just pure Asians like throughout their whole family history or something like that, and then therefore that's what they're looking for. Who knows? But yeah, there's that whole thing as well about like they mentioned very sort of briefly, I suppose, about the whole blind man Ivan thing, and that was something that had happened like previously before. I don't really know what to take out of that. But yeah, I mean, other than that, there's nothing else to really talk about. Like I said, it's more of like a weak one in terms of like the episodes that I have seen, because I don't really know. I don't know. It doesn't set up anything or like, you know, it doesn't give me any information regarding the world I think that's really going to help me going forward, other than knowing about the Northern Territories and the possible mafia that's up there as well. That's pretty much it. You know what I mean? Whereas previous ones, they've given like they've either focused on development of a character, or there's been world building in terms of like, you know, the past between, you know, if it's between China and Japan, if it's revolving around World War III or something like that, you know. But this one, there wasn't really any development at all. It was just that girls are being kidnapped. This is related to the Northern Territories and everything like that. They find an old sort of spy who's well known. She gets thrown out. We get we save all of the girls and the daughter. That's pretty much it. Like there's nothing really I can take from that one. You know, so yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a disappointing one, but you know, whatever. It is what it is. You know. So yeah, I mean that's all I've got really. So yeah. Thank you everyone for watching. If you do want to gain access to episode, well obviously, you know, episode 20 will be out the same day as this as well, so you can go watch that. And then if you do want to gain access to episode 21 and 22 right now, you can do it by becoming an early access tier patron over on my Patreon. There's also the full length tier there if you do want to watch any of them in full and not just the 10-minute cut version. And then there's also the exclusive tier if you do want to watch any of my movie reactions and everything like that when I start reacting to movies. Then, you know, the offer's there for you for that as well. There's also a link to the Discord in the description as well. If you do want to go over there, then you can do. But that is all I've got, so thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.